The boys and men are handed guns, they are now no more than a soldier risking a life that has no restore. Over 65 million men whose names answered a call they didn't send, 10,000 of which died in the Battle of Vimy Ridge alone. But why is it called a nation-building event if the world was falling apart as soldiers were promised home? Each man completing muddy crawls that felt like death, knowing it was their only way to survive. Mud so thick it swallowed men whole like the earth was starved. And maybe it was, thirsting for power like man. Machine guns didn't care about bravery or each mother's prayer. Each bullet claimed a small victory, one that was not fair. They called it the Great War, as if greatness could be measured in sacrifices and body counts and muddy boots. The war was not great, but filled with impossible truths. 4 years, back and forth and back and forth. War as a monologue shot underwater, a blur of sounds and a loss of color, taking care of land that cannot take care back. Something that cannot guarantee living just one more day. Armistice Day came and the weapons were set aside. The guns fell silent, but silence did not mean peace. The 20s arrived gently, wrapped in music and motion, music that filled the spaces where grief was not welcome. People began to dance, not out of joy, but because standing still meant remembering. Remembering not only what was, but what could have been. A man turned into a poet, an artist, or a king, now nothing but a survivor, dreams torn out of their tired hands. And as people began to sing, the music slowly filled the cracks of the earth, rebuilding walls that now felt foreign. But as the economy began to rise, so did the anger of a man who knew no just, leaving the peace just found to rot and cover in dust. Not the music nor color could drown out the sound of it all, round released after round. The world had seen this before, so when the guns rose again, they appeared not as a surprise, but as a confession. While the first war drowned men in blood and dirt, this one taught death how to fly. Air forces in the Luftwaffe battling in the skies, dropping bombs that fell faster than the prayers could rise. Two sides, blood against blood. But what happens if blood wants to be higher than other blood? They were built with plans and called camps as if surviving a week would earn them stamps. People entered and left as smoke, and once found, the Germans acted, telling lies that made them choke. And the truth? This did not happen because nobody knew, but it continued because knowing was not enough. The post-war was known as peace, but this peace was holding an arrow, loaded, ready to release. This was a war fought with whispers and shadows, no trenches, blood, mud, or dirt, only invisible lines in the earth. Though it was called the Cold War, the fear burned drills in classrooms, burned images into each child's mind, citizens fearing, knowing whatever could come, they were blind. Worried something might happen that time could not rewind. And while the leaders shook hands on TV, they clenched their fists behind closed doors, while spies replaced soldiers and secrets replaced silence, quieting down the roars. They never buried the hole, they continued to let it grow as they watched the world freeze in a paranoid snow. So tell me, what do you call a peace that holds its breath? What do you call a war that never ends, while people live in cities where fear still bends? Capitalism versus communism. Neither side truly won. We learned to wait, to sit and coexist with sealed-off fate. Peace whispered in the name of hate, while political violence begins to spread state to state. An hourglass is flipped over, and the meaning of time is understood. The value of each grain of sand becoming special as the mind urges for them to fall slower and slower. But millions of bodies fight and fall, and yet we are still unable to comprehend the meaning of humanity at all.